应该是这样吧。可以直播了。好。
是吧？开始了已经。
应该是。
人家可以这次可以发问题吗？
应该是。
嗯。
看人来了就可以。这次不是面向而行。有人来了吗？
有9个人来了。
9个？
嗯。
我操，怎么那么多？有人说话了吗？
还没有人说话。Hi everyone. We're here today. We're here to Happy Easter. Thank you. Wish you Happy Easter as well. Yeah, since there's not really anywhere we can go, we are all in quarantine, so the best hobby here obviously is to keep our thank you. Ania, yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, hope you stay safe as well. Happy Easter. Yes, so here we are it's time to do the second round of culling. 什么品种？
还是花还是
Yeah, that's for second round of culling for Calico orandes. And if you have any questions, you're welcome to ask us at this time. 别老是碰着那桌子别抖。So we can take a look at, they are getting bigger. Now they're big enough, we are going to do a water change on them as well as do the second round of culling.
有人说话了。
So now they're big enough that we can check on the side view of them and check for any defects.
就是好的可以要的。
This one is a keeper. Now that since it's quite cloudy today, we will have to rely on a flashlight.
这个就是2选淘汰的。
This is actually a call for second round, and we can see, as in my professional eye, I can see that it's got a fused tail, so that's a call. 这是3尾的是吧？
是3尾。
Yeah, so at least I can see it has fused tails, so we have to let it go.
Yeah, 身子有点短。
Yeah, this one, the torso is a little too short for good balance and stability in the future, so that's also a call.
尾巴不够翘。
And the tail's already a little droopy from the side view, so we have to let him go as well.
这种白颜色的，按理说应该也得被淘汰，但是很多人喜欢这种颜色，我就留一点儿。
Okay, what both said was this clear one. In traditional sense, in traditional Chinese goldfish selection, that would have to be culled as well. But of course, each country has a different taste for goldfish. This, to myself, I actually like it, the pinkish, colorless color, and therefore there are also a number of hobbyists who also like this color growing up. So we decided to keep a small number of them.
3尾的。
Yeah, now we have 3 here. One is a short torso on the left. 2 of them are fused tails, so we are letting those go. Thank you. Yes, me too. I thought those are the pink, light pink, are pretty cute, pretty lovely.
像这种就是好的。好，那这个小舌头背弧都很好。
Yeah, and you can see this one, the curve on the back is very thick, already showing thick and strong curve. Very nice.
然后它的尾巴也够翘。
And the tail has a nice spread from the side view, so it has a good tendency in the future to keep a nice tail, not having a droopy tail.
看这个是斯凯维的，但是它的身子稍微短一点，这个就不行。
Yeah, this one's actually, it has 4 tails, or what we call split tails, but again, the torso is a little too short for stability, so that's a cull.
像这个身子长点就是可以。
Yeah, this one's got a little bit longer torso, very nice tail spread.
尾巴
From
也
a
是
side view.
尾巴也立。
Okay, maybe. And the tail, what we call a nice stand-up tail from the side view, so that's a keeper.
这个颜色以后还会再上，具体上成什么颜色我也不知道。
The colors, we can already see a little bit of colors, and for calicos, as a fish develops further, the colors will gain further intensity. But how intense the colors will get, no one knows until they're about 18 to 24 months old. So we'll wait and see.
然后有可能它以后就是上的颜色很出众，但是你像这种黄色的，它以后就是会上成红色的。
Yep, then you can see this orange or light orange one right now. And the light orange, as it ages, it will gain intensity. It eventually becomes either very bright red or very bright heavy orange.
像这种白色的，身上有一点黑点儿，很多人都说它会，就是以后上成黑色的，就是熊猫那种的，但是绝大部分不会。
Yeah, and what Bo just said was, although you can see little specks of black on this fish, some people think that it will gain more black over time, but from his experience, the number of fish that would be able to pick up large patches of black from this coloring has been rare. So this will develop into a largely pinkish soft pink with probably just a little specks of black on its body.
没人问问题吗？
现在没有问，你就说吧。Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. Yeah, we're trying also to do everything we can to provide everyone a bit of entertainment as well as good learning, as just so far from what we've experienced.
Sure. 像这种，看上去没什么毛病，现在，就是尾巴也撕开了，也够力，但它有一个弱点，就是身子偏短了。
Yeah, looking at this one, it's got 4 tails, it's got decent colors. There's not really any fault on this fish, but the only big fault is the short torso. It kind of looks cute right now, but when it grows into 6 to 10 months, it'll have more difficult time to keep balance. So we try to eliminate fish which could develop future problems, especially balance.
身子偏短的后果就是它越长越不好看。
With a short torso, the downside with a short torso is it may look cute at 3 months at about 3 inches, 4 inches, but when it develops into 6 or 7 inches, it simply would not look as graceful. It would actually look even more uglier as it grows, so we don't want to keep those ones.
我看到网上有人就说一定要选身子短的，那他是胡说八道。
Exactly, swimming bladder. Not swimming bladder problem. Yes, just the overall balance, even without any swimming bladder problems per se, and also with the fins of these fish developing longer and longer as it grows. it would just much harder for the fish to be able to keep balance. And that's why we never want to keep fish with super short torso, just for longevity, for the appearance, for looking at the long term 3, 4, 5, 6 years in the future for the fish.
有人问题吗？
These are about 这些多少？是20天这天。
这是2选，离我上一次直播
几天？
离我上一次直播就这么多天，我谁数这玩意儿？ 大概有20天左右吧，10几天左右，10几天。
These are about, I think, 15 to 20 days old. No, we can't really tell their sex right now. It may take 3 to 4 months or even longer, depending on each individual fish.
一上一次直播，别说人家出生不是出生啊。
Let me see. I think I missed the last comment. 怎么看人家的那个
聊天？我也不知道啊，你搞的。你刚才摁哪儿了？显示所有消息。是这儿吧？
Oh yeah, these are calico orandas.
2个土老帽在这直播。
Okay, we got a new batch. We're picking out.
像这个还蛮不错的，将来可能有一个好的发展，但是也不一定，得再长看。
Yeah, this one looks good so far, but we never know. 哎，敏敏姐好。
谁呀？敏姐。今天阴天，然后就工作一下吧。也是对今天有个交代。
Yeah, it's quite cloudy today, but of course our work won't stop. It's every day, without weekends, without holidays. It's a forever job, but of course our job is somewhat seasonal as well. Winter months a little slower. Spring months are by far the busiest, just because we have to do a lot of fry feeding, culling, water changing. So it's by far the busiest season for us. The spring, from anywhere from February, March, April to May. Once we move into just the feeding months in the summer and the fall, the workload will decrease somewhat.
然后有什么要说的吗？有什么想问我的吗？你看这一个就不行，这一个。
Yeah, let's look at this one.
它的尾巴太夹了，就是它的尾巴这个太窄了，就是这个地方。
Yeah, this one, the tail from the side view is a little bit too clamped to our liking. That means when the fish, when it grows older, it will tend to have a droopier tail. When it becomes 1.5 to 2 years old. 人家问你淘汰到什么时候才一直淘汰？
我要一直在淘汰，我每一次换水都会淘汰，只是从最开始的淘汰最多，然后就是慢慢淘汰，然后就是每一次换水都会淘汰，但是每一次淘汰的量都会逐渐减少。
Yeah, but we will continue to cull anything that does not meet standards for sales. We continue to cull no matter the age. But each time that we cull, you can see from our previous video, the first round of culling was very, very extremely high. We are looking at culling of close to 90%, but now as for our second round of culling, you can already see that we're culling a whole lot less. That's our strategy, is to cull most majority of them as soon as we see defects, so we don't have to cull a large amounts of them when they get to 3, 4, 5, 6, even 7, 8 inches.
有时候淘汰的也真是心疼， 但是
这个刚刚一个我有没有看到
？How old Q？
刚刚 Hello. Sorry, I cannot pronounce your name right, but hello from Atlanta. Well, culling, it is. We some people could be feeling a little sensitive about culling, killing fish, but we see it as our job and our quality promise to our customers. But for really small ones, we just freeze them and we feed them to larger fish. For the larger ones, we actually have quite a big piece of property. We would actually just feed a number of animals on the property. We just give them to the animals, turkeys, wild cats, even vultures on our property. So we just give it as free meals to them. Okay, so you can see that we have a whole lot more. The percentage of keepers in the culled ones have shifted to about 60% keepers and about 40% culls. So as we do culling for each size, the percentage will become the keepers, so it will become larger and larger versus the culled ones. Okay, now we have a.
看这背弧多漂亮。
Yeah, look at this is what we call a perfect curve back for orandas at this age.
看这背弧。
Yeah, look at the curve, the really nice smooth curve, not too much, not too little. That's an ideal keeper.
这个也是好的。
Yeah, we're gonna look at it overall. Nice long body, expansive tail, and a nice curve.
而且这条颜色将来应该也是很不错的颜色。
Yeah, we can see already good coloring coming on. Sure thing, thank you.
这个就不行，这个尾柄结束的太早了。
This is what we called too short of a peduncle. It will also create a problem when it grows bigger. I mean, the main problem is really keeping a good balance. So that's a call.
太师是一个测试鱼，
Yeah.
所以说一定要按测试的标准来选它。
Okay, the oranda is what we call a side view fish. So we will have to ensure that the side view standards are well met.
能看得清了。
可以看得清。
说又没话说了，没人想问问题吗？
No one's got any questions?
那我们就说点别的吧。
Not sure. Okay, if no one's got any questions, we can talk about anything that. If you have any burning issues, we can also discuss.
其实这些小鱼都是怎么说呢？我说淘汰的时候会不会心疼？你看这条就是不行，它将来的颜色应该是条黑色或者是什么颜色，但是它这个太短了，身子太短了。
Yeah, again, we can look at this one. Although we are not sure about coloring yet, it may be red, it may be black in the future. But again, the torso is too short on that fish. We'll have to let it go. These fish have been living on live brine, baby brine shrimp. We hatch them. You can see we have a hatchery right there in the middle where you can see this little picture over there with an air stone in there. That's how we hatch live brine shrimp. You can also check our previous videos. We show you how to hatch baby brine shrimp. to
还不
clean
错，
up.
还不错。
Yeah, it looks like.
这次淘汰主要是淘汰把上一次就是因为鱼太小没有看清楚的3开尾的，还有那个长得比较短的淘汰掉了。
Mainly this time we are filtering out any fused tails that from last round of culling due to their small size. We can see clearly of every fused tail, but now this time we can see them now, so we are getting rid of all at least the fused tails. Any short torsos we're getting rid of as well. Let me check. For ick, well, we are doing a lot of work to prevent parasites from coming into our farm, so we don't really let ick to grow on a farm simply because if we let parasites to grow uncontrollably, we cannot control them. There's not a way for us to be able to have enough water changes, enough medication to control parasites. We therefore strictly control what can come out of our farm with our seed fish. We have them separate for months so that we ensure that no parasites could come in at a farm. With ick, you can use any ick medications that are available in the pet stores. Treat them accordingly. Treat them according to the instructions on the bottles. It's pretty easy to get rid of, but the most important thing is making sure that you don't bring ick into your tanks by quarantining your fish for a long enough time. Usually we recommend 4 weeks to ensure that all parasites have been nuked before you introduce new fish into your tank. We have never counted how many we sell per year. Some years are more than other years. 有人就说我们一年卖几条。我就说我们也不知道，反正有多少卖的。Yeah, I mean that's just also a game of luck. It's not something that we can plan for. Of course, the more the merrier. But if we don't have many to sell, we have to settle. The one thing is we will never sacrifice quality for number. So if we have less, we'll have to settle with the number. If we have more, great.
没数，我们两个糊涂蛋没数。不知道要卖多少，反正就是每年有一个繁殖计划，就是有一个大概的繁殖计划。我想繁殖什么东西，然后，至于最后，
哎，大刚你好，谢谢。然后人家问这个樱花是从哪里出来的？
樱花就是有时候五花里面会出一点儿，然后。这是秘密吗？
不知道呀。
然后樱花实际上是用那个就是硬鳞的鱼、硬鳞的红鱼，还有那个硬鳞里的红鱼，跟五花杂交，它一般出来的是会出很多樱花。
Yeah, sakura could come from calicos and also a mix from any hard reflective scale fish mixed with calicos, so it could be from either two, but of course since we don't really know the history and lineage of every pair of seed fish, so it's always a chance. It's not going to be always the same number, same percentage every year. How often do we do water changes? It's really dependent on the water quality. There's not really a set schedule that we do it once every Sunday or once every Friday. Everything is in fluid. We do water changes are done based on water quality and also the need, also how much we feed. We feed more, we have to change more water. In the winter months, we change less since the water is cold and we feed them less. So it's all in fluid. It all depends on how the fish feels as well. So there's not a set schedule.
还在说樱花的问题吗？
没有了。Reflective scale, or the red, black, red, white, they all fall into the same family. So there's not really a difference as long as it's a reflective scale fish, you will have a chance of having sakura with a calico.
啥？
那就是说硬鳞的鱼是黑鱼还是白鱼还是红白还是红？我说硬鳞都是硬鳞，才是全是一个洗出来的硬鳞。
对对对。
所以也无所谓。
我就说也无所谓。
Hi Sergio, how are you? Happy Easter. We feed fry. Well, it's really a combination of what we think the water quality we can keep at, as well as we virtually, if you have enough water volume, you can feed them 24 hours a day. They will just keep eating. But we feed depending on the water volume that we have. 然后人家就是问你那个一天喂多少？
你坐那边去。
Okay, I'm gonna go back and so you can see.
Hello.
然后他们就问你那个一天喂多少？
一天喂当年鱼、当岁鱼。
就是问是小鱼一天大概喂多少？
就是当岁的小鱼是你就喂。一般情况下，怎么说呢？我先说一下书上说的吧。
你说每次说短一点，不要说很长，我一下记不住翻译。你每次说，
书上说的是当岁鱼，就是说的这种小鱼，喂它头部的那个大小。
Okay, so now what Bo said was for feeding amount for what we called 1-year-olds, anywhere from these to any fish that's less than 12 months old. Usually what the book says is the volume of food is just right about the size of its head.
我自己就是一般保证它能吃2个小时。
From our experience, we usually provide enough food for the fish to be able to eat for around 2 hours a day.
如果食物不充足的话，那就没办法保证了，因为那个，有时候会出现一点偏差，所以说就轮着来，至少我是大概1个小时给它供应，可能这只是我的一个方法，不是所有人的方法。
Okay, yeah, so that's just my way of raising them, since I have very large ponds to be able to accommodate the amount of waste that they produce. But obviously it's not everyone's way. If you have smaller water volume, then you have to consider keeping the water quality. If you have endless amount of water that you could keep fish in, of course, the more volume that you have, the more you can give them, because the pollutions would be greatly diluted in larger amounts of water. And 就是有人问，鱼是要吃蔬菜呀、吃豆子呀、吃西兰花那种吗？
No.
Simple answer, no.
金鱼是杂食性动物，然后是以肉食为主，也就是说它主要是吃那种在野外的时候，它实际上是鲫鱼的一个变种嘛，在野外的时候它是杂食，有什么吃什么，但是它主要是吃一些小昆虫，这些水中的小昆虫这一类的，对它的生长还有什么都非常有利。我也不知道这个素食主义是从哪里来的，对金鱼的素食主义是从哪里来的？它不消化不吸收，你晓得吧？
For goldfish, they eat a variety of food, but they primarily thrive on bugs, on any small larvae from bugs, on what I call animal protein. they don't really thrive on vegetables. They only eat vegetables when there's nothing around in the environment for them to eat. For example, in the winter months. But if you want them to develop well, to develop strong muscles and good immunity, they need to eat a lot of bugs. What Bo says that he has no idea where this goldfish should eat vegetable idea came from. Goldfish simply are not vegans. Vegetables do not really deliver the right amount of right type of protein that they need. So no, vegetables do not really do their body good. If you want them to develop well, have strong immunity, give them bugs, a lot of bloodworms, a lot of brine shrimp. We feed a large amount of live Daphnia to them, so that's what they thrive on.
这真的是一个好问题。
Yeah, this is actually an excellent question.
因为金鱼它以肉食为主，我研究过那个金鱼的饲料，这是我必须得研究的一个东西。然后就是它的配比，动物蛋白必须占到70%吧，70以上吧。好久了，我具体记不清楚了。但是它是。就是动物蛋白必须得占到就是一个很高的比例，不是说完全不能吃那些东西，但是那个东西也是辅助，只能是辅助。
Yeah, and I've investigated in the amount of the composition of fish food. For a fish food to be effective, there needs to be what I'm talking about. Of course, it's not dry fish food, but fish food with moisture, a good moisture content. It needs to have at least about 70% in animal protein and bug protein in order to provide effective growth for these fish. It's not that they cannot consume any vegetation, but vegetation should only be a rare supplement, not a main diet for goldfish.
就是先回答人家问题，再接着。
对，然后就说 Oh, hi Trisha. For feeding fry, you can usually after they start swimming continuously, usually depending on your water temperature. If you have warmer water, maybe it takes them a day or two. Cooler water, it might take them 3 to 4 days, but after they start swimming continuously, be able to float in the water, not really sinking on the bottom, you can start feeding them. Hey Zhao, how are you? Thank you, Nia, for answering the question. Yes, that's absolutely right. We have, okay, what's the best food for babies without live foods? We have not fed any other foods other than live foods, so it's difficult to say, sorry. You can feed Elena. You can feed them every day. Bloodworms, brine shrimp. Actually, you need to make these foods their primary diet in order for them to develop well. They can live without vegetables, but if you only feed bloodworms and brine shrimp every other day, they would not be able to receive the best nutrients. Zhao food, you can make Zhao food a supplement, but not staple diet. Staple diet should be bloodworms or brine shrimp at about 70% of consumption for them each day. Then having Zhao food or even some little pellets as 30% each day.
还是 是接着刚才说那个素食的那个问题，这真是一个好问题，因为很多鱼友都在说这个问题。
Okay, so
我要给我的鱼吃素，我要给我的鱼吃素。
Yeah, so yeah, we can continue. We actually would like to continue the discussion on feeding goldfish vegetables because we also see many posts on the internet saying that I would like to provide my goldfish a lot of vegetation as that's what they need.
每个物种都有每个物种它的食物结构。你像那个，
你这么远说听不清。
说就行，你能听清就行。
Yeah, every type of animal has their needs for food. For example, tigers and lions, we obviously cannot force them to become vegans, obviously, simply because they would only develop well on animal proteins. 我就说一下那个，就像狮子老虎，
对，
你不能让他们吃素，他们就是吃荤的。
然后就是金鱼呢，还是那句话，它就是以肉食为主的，也就是说以小昆虫这一类的为主的东西，所以说你就是不能给它就是以素食为主。它不是不能活，它能活着，但是生活质量不高。
Yep, and also for goldfish, their primary diet, which would build healthy immunity, build strong muscles, bone structures, all those nutrients need to come from bugs, coming from animal proteins. What I say is, yeah, animal protein, bugs are also part of animal protein. Anything, very tender fish, very tender shrimp, but of course they need to be raw. Cooked ones could be too hard on their for them to chew up. So raw animal protein, raw bloodworms, brine shrimp. These are the proper diet for goldfish. Vegetations, yeah, of course, they'll consume anything they can put in their mouths, but then vegetations do not really provide a proper nutrition for these fish. They'll live, but the quality of life would be much lower.
我求求你们别再打着喂金鱼好的旗号，给他们吃全素了。
Yeah, I beg you, don't think that you're doing your goldfish a favor by feeding them vegetation. They are suffering. Give them lots of bugs.
你只是在欺负他们不会说话而已。
So they're at a disadvantage that they can't tell you what they want to eat. So, but we can tell you right now they are not happy with a vegan diet. Hi, Morris. Yeah, Morris, for fry, currently we feed alive newly hatched baby brine shrimp.
所以说，就是说一下金鱼的食物吧。
还有问题呢，就是人家说就是那个小鱼开始发霉了，管不住。
小鱼发霉了，管不住。
就是那种就是小鱼开始发霉，不是鱼卵也有小鱼，反正就是那个小针苗开始发霉了，管不住，那水质不行。
小鱼发霉了，那应该就是水质不行了，水质坏了。
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so if you are having fungal infections in your fry, that means that your water quality has really gone down. You probably need to control your feeding or do additional water changes to ensure that your water quality will stay at the tip-top shape.
而且你的水应该是没有量。
And also, you would have to really ensure that your water is free of disinfection chemicals and have them well aged for several days, well aerated for several days before changing water for your fry.
我知道，就是一般鱼友家里。
Oh, thank you, Nia, for answering your questions. Yes, that's correct.
一般鱼友家里都会很。
Sergio, yes, what we discussed regarding to diet. If you would like to have a very pretty large head growth on orandas, give them lots of bugs. So more bugs, of course, not really dried bugs, but lots of fresh bugs, frozen, live, bloodworms, frozen, live, brine shrimp, Daphnia. The more you provide them, the bigger, the prettier head growth they will be able to develop.
还有问题吗？
现在没有。
现在没有，就说一下那个小鱼发霉的问题，还是继续说那个食物吃素的问题？
吃素的问题也说好了，现在。
吃素的问题说好了。
嗯。
然后，就是它的水没有晾过，小鱼的那个问题。
对。
它的水没有晾过，另一个就是。发霉有很多种，它的病的表现也有很多种，所以说，如果是单纯的水霉的话，就是身上长毛那种水霉的话，那个是水质恶劣造成的。如果说是疾病传染，那个表现出来它那个毛是不一样的，菌丝没有这么长。
For fungal, now we can explore a little bit more on the fungal infections. There are also, of course, different type of fungal infections, and if it's just due to the poor water quality, then the fungal infections, you can see that there are really long and thin strains, really tiny thin strains of long white strains growing on the fish. If there are parasites, then it's a different type of fungal infections. You would not see very, very long stringy growth coming out of fish. Then that's the secondary infections from parasites living on the flesh of the fish.
所以说，你得首先判断它的病因是什么。
Yeah, then you would have to first investigate the root cause of the infections, then treat it accordingly.
首先，你得判断明白以后，你才能用药，或者是改变你的策略。
然后还有Okay, Rick, your question. My goldfish develop a large white spots on their fins. I think it is the protozoan called. Sorry, I can't even pronounce the name of it. Sorry. Is it not fatal? They seem to do fine with it. It's just ugly. Have you heard of this? And well, without seeing the picture, it's difficult to say what are those large white spots on their fins. It's difficult to diagnose just right now without understanding a little bit more background of what's causing it. Sorry. Okay, the next question. I have a very large tank with sump underneath. My water is pristine and I do frequent water changes, but my oranda just keeps dying. Very sad and frustrating. I love your fish bowl. Oh, thank you. Your fish keeps dying. It is also a complicated situation. Whether are you bringing parasites into your tank? How are you treating your tank? We see many times that hobbyists are not really clearly removing the disinfection chemicals in their tanks, or are pretty much using what we this popular Python water change method, where they pump tap water straight into a tank, then treat it with disinfection chemicals. This could also be very, very dangerous to your fish, as in your tank, it's a very complicated situation in your tank. If it's just straight tap water coming out of your faucet in your clear bucket, yes, the disinfection chemicals could be removed pretty quickly. But in your tank, we're talking about a very complicated situation that you have your organic matters, you have all other, you have your nitrates, everything else that the chemical needs to go to work. That's why it may not be as effective as if you were to disinfect or to treat your water in a clear bucket or in a separate container, then put it into your tank. So that's why we highly advise against pumping taps straight into your tank. Always treat it, age it, aerate it very, very well before you allow this water to enter your tank. That could eliminate a good portion of your problems if you could ensure that all your fish that you obtain are parasite free. 还有喂鸡蛋黄，小鱼喂鸡蛋黄。
喂鸡蛋黄是可以的。
Yes. Next question. Using steamed eggs. Yes, you can feed steamed eggs for babies. Yeah, they are also effective. It's just the difficulty, especially if you're feeding cooked yolk. You would have to manage water quality because yolk with all the fine particles in the water, it could pollute your water very quickly if a fry are not able to consume them up. So yeah, it's just a matter of water quality management. Yes, you can absolutely feed eggs.
但是一定要掌握好那个量啊，因为鸡蛋黄特别容易过量。
Yes, especially with egg yolks, you would have to control the amounts that you release at once. Again, it's a matter of how well you can manage the water quality. When the water quality goes south, fry could die very easily. Okay, next question. Right now, I'm attempting to breed male black oranda with female red and white oranda. Can I suspect a tricolor or calico fry? If you are breeding all reflective fish with all reflective scales, you would not see a calico. You may be able to see a tricolor, but every fish would have all reflective scales. Calico is considered an nigreous scales, which it could contain both reflective and non-reflective scales. If you're only using red and white and black fish with reflective scales, you would not have any calicos. Yeah, tricolors, possible. Okay, next question. All the fish you sell on your site, are they ones that you... Yes, we only sell the fish that are bred. Well, you can see bowl right here, bred on our farm, bred and raised on our farm. We do not really import and resell any fish. Every fish that we offer for sale, every variety, is bred and raised on our farm in Georgia, just right outside of Atlanta. You're welcome. Oh, I think I've answered all the questions. Any other questions? 现在没有问题，你说说别的。
说说怎么喂鱼吧。
Okay, then let's continue on the topic of how do we feed fish.
金鱼呢，我建议。
Oh, Rick, do I know a vet who specializes in fish specialty? Sorry, we don't. We, through our experience, we are pretty well versed at prevention as well as treating parasites, so therefore we don't know any vets around. Sorry. 那就是有没有兽医专门医金鱼的兽医，我们不知道，我们都。Yeah, go ahead if you have any questions. 有问题随便问。你喂那个
喂食啊？喂食呢，我建议就是过了中午12点你就不要喂了。
The first thing is, when do you feed your fish? We recommend that there are not any more feeding after noon or after 12 o'clock of the day, simply because they will need some time to rest and digest the food. So that's our recommendation.
在12点之前，你要让它吃好，然后吃到7、8分饱吧就可以了。
And and let them to consume enough food to right about 80% fullness, not completely full, but about 80%. That's a good state for them to have. Giving them too much food, of course, you have to manage your water quality appropriately. More water changes, obviously, more food, more work for you.
颗粒饲料呢？
我的问题是Is it best to thaw bloodworms? Yes, it would be good to thaw them first. Obviously, you don't want to give your fish a brain freeze, so yeah, just thaw them. Use some tank water, thaw the bloodworms, then give them to your fish. Do I ship to Alaska? Absolutely, we ship to Hawaii and Alaska. There are also next day delivery, but not probably until the afternoon, right before 8 p.m. right before 5 p.m. or 8 p.m. the next day. 现在好，没有问题了，你说。
就是我建议这个食物是12点之前你要把它喂完，然后就是颗粒饲料的问题，我始终不太建议颗粒饲料，直接喂颗粒饲料。因为那个很难消化，但是不是不可以喂，就是在家里的时候比较难掌握这个量。先说这个。
Yeah, regarding to food, it's not that you're strictly forbidden from feeding pellets. It's just the pellets are not really designed for easy digestion for your fish. You could give them a little bit of it to keep them full. However, it's just simply like us. We cannot live on compressed food all day long. It's just they're really dehydrated with lots of fillers. Usually it's the wheat mitts that are in the fish foods, pelleted foods. They're simply not really suitable for goldfish digestion, so they only thrive on unprocessed food. We're talking about freezing. It's fine. Frozen food is fine. Minimally processed, but highly processed pellets with fish meal, it's not recommended. It's just really not the best for the digestive system for your fish.
所以我建议颗粒饲料只是它的辅助。
So that's why we recommend that it could only be, a treat, a supplement, but never as a primary diet for your fish.
当然了，喂这个颗粒饲料是最简单、最省事儿、最省时的一个办法。但是如果不是不可以喂，但是如果你想，就是把鱼养好，养得很好，它只能是辅助。
Yeah, of course, pellet food, flake food, they're the easiest way, simplest way, cleanest way to keep your fish alive. However, if you wish your fish to develop well, to have huge head growth, to have beautiful colors, to have strong build, then you would have to give them lots of fresh food. Pellet food simply will not be able to deliver that kind of results for you. Hi, Fernando. Yes, we have. We still have good crown pearl scales. So anytime you are ready to purchase, just reach out to us. We will be able to provide you videos for them. 下一个问题，为什么小鱼基本上都是3尾、4尾非常的少，差不多一窝500条，4尾只有2、3条。品种是东锦蓝手，尤其是蓝手，基本上1条4尾的都没有。孵化的温度在20度左右。
哎呀，是说中文的吗？
是中文。
这个遗传基因运气。这个就是遗传基因运气，这个没有办法，因为有时候我好像做过一个这个视频，它就是你同样的2个亲鱼， 哎，这是不礼貌。你同样的2个青鱼，然后就同样的2个青鱼，它生出来的，你每一批它生出来的正品率都会有差。然后，还有啥？然后脑子荡掉了。然后每一批都会有差，更别说这个，是，我想说啥来着？Sorry。然后，还有主要是它的遗传，尤其是蓝瘦，就是它长期的这个选育问题吧，也是它的一个选育问题，就是4开尾的非常少。500条有个2、3条已经不错了，尤其是太瘦里面那个4开尾的更少。所以说太瘦里面它的3开尾甚至鹰尾都是被允许的、合格的，因为它主要是一个测试的鱼。像中国蓝瘦的话，还有日本蓝瘦，我都繁殖过。日本蓝瘦的那个4开尾的量还是比较大一点，但是它的尾巴合格率非常非常的低，因为它需要一个那种形状，一个燕尾的那种，就是像燕子大雁张开那个翅膀的那个形状是非常少的，而且特别容易变形。它这个没有办法，就是我把这些都归结为运气，因为你拿到的种鱼，它可能就是这个样子，但是有时候你赶准一批，那一批4开尾的就特别高，但大部分这种运气很少。我的繁殖下来蓝瘦也是这个样子的，4开尾的非常少。我繁殖的蓝丹凤也是这个样子的，4开尾的非常非常少。然后太师的4开尾量也不算太高，在一选的时候应该是20%，但是一选的时候它的4开尾，有的很多，如果说你挑选鱼比较早的话，它是一个假性的4开尾，因为你看不清楚，等到2选的时候你就看出来了，就会出现好多3开尾的。
Okay, so yeah, we have one hobbyist who asked in Chinese. I'm going to translate it, and maybe translate and just to translate the majority of what Bo just said. The question was why there are so little of fry that actually have split tails. I have about 500 fry over here. I could only find 2 or 3 with split tails. Mainly I've bred Azuma Nishigi as well as Ranchus. What Bo said was, yes, that's mainly dependent on luck. It's really the luck of the quality of the seed fish they obtained. Of course, each seed fish, we have no way of knowing the ancestry, knowing the bloodline, the details on the bloodline from each fish. So it's completely luck of what we could obtain. Especially Azuma Nishigi and Ranchu, the rate of having a split tail fry is ultra. It is indeed ultra low. He's bred both varieties himself as well as blue egg phoenix. Just finding fish with split tails is already a very difficult task. Then after that, of course, we still have to look at the overall, the head growth, the head shape, the dorsals, the fins, the body, the color. That's why it's a forever task of culling. We don't stop culling just because the fish have reached it to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 inches. If they don't look right, they will be culled.
还有一个最主要的就是，蓝瘦必须得经过，就是大面积海选，才可以保证出精品率。这个是。你想很少的鱼就能出来精品，这个是基本上是为零。
Yeah, of course, especially around choose, it's basically a game of having extremely large amounts of fry for you to select from. If you only have a collection of 500,000, even several thousand fish, 10,000, 20,000 fry, the chances of your finding champion quality fish would be slim to none. Yeah, we've seen farms that produce nothing but ranchos. They would produce sellable ranchos at what we say probably 70 to 100,000 sellable fish a year. Even at that rate, finding champion fish, if they could find 10, 15 champion or fish that are good enough to enter a competition, they are happy for the year. Okay, Rick, your question, if 70% of brine shrimp, bloodworms, Daphnia, what is other 30%? What form, if not pellets or flakes? We recommend Zhao food. Currently, we recommend Zhao food from Rapashi.com. Again, we don't really have received any sponsorship from them. It's simply we see as the best supplement for them. You can even make your own homemade Zhao food as well. So the goal is not to provide them lots of dry food, lots of fillers, food with lots of fillers, but provide them high quality unprocessed food. Thank you, Tricia. Thank you. Oh, excellent, excellent. Yeah, this is definitely a good gift, Tricia, for you on Easter. It's definitely a lot of fun, a lot of challenges, a lot of work, but lots of fun breeding goldfish, rearing fry, and just to see how they grow, how they develop over time.
对了，刚才素食的那个问题少说了一个问题，我补一下。
Yeah, Bo would like to come back to the topic of feeding vegetation.
素食不是完全不能吃，你每个星期给它2次就可以了，像什么菠菜，还有一些别的素食的东西，2次就够了。
Oh yeah, it's not absolutely no vegetables at all. You can provide them maybe twice a week. Spinach, zucchini, broccoli, any soft blanched peas that you can provide them, but just understanding the goal is not really to make them vegans. They're not vegans. They like meat. They like a lot of bugs.
那个千万不要天天给它吃素。
Yeah, don't give them vegetables every day. It does not do any good to their body.
还有问题吗？
现在没有问题。
没有问题了。
I think we answered all the questions. Any more questions?
没有问题。你看有问题这样回答，你不如让我自己说，自己说我断不了溜，你知道吗？
那人家一直有问题了。
然后接下来我又不知道该说什么了。鱼的正品率的问题啊。
Okay. Okay, now Bo's gonna talk a little bit about culling and also just the rate for the sellable fish versus culls.
金鱼的正品率始终是一个探讨的问题。它这个，你像每个国家标准都不一样。
Yeah, it's a forever topic, simply because the standards from each country is even different. Some countries focuses on more on appearance. Some other countries focus more on genetics. So there's not really a concrete answer.
中国传统的那个选育标准是中国传统的就是选育标准是，第一次先把单尾的，飞机尾的，淘汰掉。
Okay, so now let's talk about the traditional selection method for China. for China, the first round of culling is always removing any fused tails, any single tails from the fry.
然后，二选的时候是把三开尾的淘汰掉，它主要是在有一个尾巴的选率。
二选的时候是什么？我刚刚在看人家。
二选的时候主要是选，就是把那个三尾的淘汰掉，然后就是有一些长得身子偏的，或者是，就是最主要是淘汰三开尾，还有体型不端正的那种。
Okay, yeah, second round of culling. It's still mainly because the fused tail ones could slip through the first round of culling. The second round of culling is also to focus on fused tail. And now that the fish are bigger, we can see to ensure their spines are straight. If there are any crooked spines, we would have to cull those as well in the second round of culling.
然后三选就是那个鱼就稍微比较大一点了。三选的时候，它还是进一步淘汰一些体型不端正的，还有那个就是还是从尾巴上，主要是从尾巴上讲的。然后到第四选，它就可以出手了。
Oh, yeah, the third round of culling is checking for balance in a fish. If a torso is too short, torso is too long. If a fish do not look good, at the overall quality, those would be culled. Of course, if we find any more fused tails, those are definitely a cull. Then comes to fourth round of culling. They will pretty much reach saleable size. Some farms will start to sell those, some farms not, depending on the preference of each farm. Okay, I see a question over here. My blue phoenix tail lionhead baby fry are doing good. Oh, excellent. Congratulations. Very nice.
然后可以开始说了吗？
可以开始说。
然后四选的时候，它就是再选下来的，它就是可以出售了。
这个说过了。
然后剩下的，它就开始就是把它养大，养得很大，就是特征什么的都出来，然后这是中国选育的一个办法。
Okay, so after fourth round, some could already be sold. Then the rest will be kept for further growth to what we call adult size. Typically, they should reach anywhere from 5 inches or more. Of course, it depends also on the variety. Some varieties could grow bigger, some varieties will grow slower. But generally, then we're looking at 4 months. That's where the fish, what we call 1-year-old fish, could start to be sold. Oh, this is the Chinese method of goldfish trade. Okay, Bo's just getting some more fresh water. We're putting the second round of past fish back into the pond.
中国的正品率说法就是4开尾，比如说龙精，它的有2个眼睛，中国的正品率就是它的是4开尾，对尾巴没有太多的要求，然后只要它是4开尾，就好了。然后就是它的特征，比如说是狮子头、帽子，还有这个龙筋，水泡，还有那个珍珠这一类的，只要它的特征发达，就可以了。
Okay, so for the traditional Chinese varieties, the traditional standards are not too much emphasized on the aesthetic beauty of the tail. As long as it's not fused, we would call it a pass. But for the traditional varieties, for example, Oranda, what we call high-head Orandas, the red caps, bubble eyes, as well as pearl scales, is the variety features needs to be strong. Say if it's a bubble eye, then the bubbles needs to be big and balanced. Telescope eye, they need to be well protrude and with a nice shape, and also even, not really having a lopsided, one side smaller than the other side. Red cap, the cap needs to be big. Orandas needs to have what we call high-head Orandas, needs to have a very, very well profound cap. So those are the traditional Chinese standards, not so much emphasized in all the other fins, but it's just the main feature of this particular varieties needs to be well seen. Of course, yeah, it's again from the traditional Chinese literature, Goldfish literatures. That's what they look for. That's what we look for in each variety. 现在有一个回答。Okay, we have a last question here, Rick. Rick's question. Okay, do you use Rapashi Super Gold? No, currently we have not tried Rapashi Super Gold, simply because we're not looking for protein from Zhao food protein. We're pretty much looking for a supplement, so we currently recommend a Soylent Green, as it has more of a content for greens, for Daphne, not Daphne, but coming to a block to spirulina. Yeah, it has a good content of spirulina in there as a vegetation, as a supplement. The proteins that you feed your fish should mainly be coming from bloodworms, brine shrimp, Daphne, any fresh or frozen food that you feed them. 好，你继续说吧。
然后，日本的金鱼又不一样。
And however, in Japan, they have their own set of standards.
日本的金鱼对每一个品种、每一个部位都细化到位。
For Japanese varieties, it's not really to focus on the main feature of each variety, but every part is very, very closely investigated. What's the right word? It has a very detailed set of standards, not only for one part, but for every part of the fish.
他们有非常严格的那个选育标准，有一套。
They have very, very detailed set of standards, especially for ranchers. 有人问你准备繁殖日本蓝兽吗？
我不准备。
No, we have no plans. We have no plans to breed Japanese ranchers.
我在中国的时候，我繁殖过那个东西，对我来说正品率真的太低了。
Oh, thank you, Blue Phoenix Tail Lionhead. Thank you for your kind words. For Japanese ranchers, it's simply the culling rate is too high, extremely high. If we weren't not looking to have this business to support our living, sure, we can dedicate a lot of time and effort and money, of course, to breed Japanese ranchers. But currently, since we need to pay our bills, have a mortgage and other things that we need to pay for, it's just not really a viable business for us to invest right now. But we never know. After Bo has retired, he might be able to focus on breeding things that of great challenge, of what he enjoys to do. But right now, of course, there's a limitation of investment and return.
还有一个 为什么不太选择？它的正品率太低了。不是说我正要说到这个日本的金鱼的选育标准，它很多4开尾的，比如说日本蓝鳝，它很多4开尾的，但是不是4开尾的就是合格的鱼，对它的尾型是就是有很严格的一套选育标准的。
Yep. So also when we look at Japanese ranchu, there are a lot of split tails in each batch of fry. But simply having a split tail does not mean that the fish would meet standards or be able to win championships or win even any place in a competition. There is a very detailed set of standards, even just for the shape of its tail, for its deportment. So that's why right now at this time we simply do not really have the time and the investment that we currently can afford to breed this variety.
所以我看过很多人在繁殖日本蓝鳝。但是在我看来，理想的真没有几个。
Yeah, I've seen obviously a lot of hobbyists who enjoys the challenge of breeding Japanese ranchers, but not many good ones have come out just to really that we can see the difficulty of breed this particular variety. It's a set of standards, trying to meet the set of standards, it's extremely difficult.
因为你得从这些4开尾的，我们先不说它头部的特征，我们就说它尾巴的特征，你得从这些4开尾的这个尾巴里面把那个精品再选出来，按照那个标准再选出来。所以说这就很难了。在我看来，那真是一片4开尾的垃圾。然后一片4开尾的垃圾，然后我认识，所以说我知道它有多难。但是如果你不认识，你觉得那都是4开尾的话，那玩日本蓝手真的是一点意义都没有。
So, from a set of all split-tail Japanese ranchus, then you have to pick out the few that are actually meeting the requirements of the shape of the tail. From what I'm looking at, from all the available Japanese ranchers, if I have a batch, even a large batch, from what looking at the majority of them are calls. Because I can recognize what is a good tail and how much investment I have to put in order to just produce a few of them that would be able to meet standards. That's why I decided not to invest in this variety right now.
我玩过，我养过日本蓝手，所以说我知道它有多难。
I've bred Japanese ranchus before, therefore I understand how extremely difficult it is to even produce a decent fish. That's why.
有机会吧，有机会我整到合适的种，我还是要尝试一下。
Yeah, but it's not to say it will be another. It's also the opportunity whether I would be able to acquire a set of nice seed fish to do it from. If there's an opportunity when the time is right, sure, of course. I can dedicate my time to really try to produce, but of course, when I'm looking at producing Japanese fish, I would not be looking at to produce any profit from it, but just mainly to challenge myself.
现在没问题是吧？
现在有一个问题。Oh, hi, Marty. Oh, great. Yes, great to hear. You're very welcome. Great to hear that you are doing well. 好啊，好啊，你再问题，你再问问题，有什么问题再问一下，随便问。
然后，刚才说到日本鱼的标准哈，
对，
没问题。日本鱼，我们就拿日本来寿来举个例子，它的头要发到多大，然后它跟它的日本鱼的主要的一个选育标准就是它要总体协调。
Yeah, so the main requirement for Japanese, for example, a Japanese rancho is it needs to look 协调，英文我也不会说。Yeah, the overall fish needs to look aesthetically pleasing. It's not a particular part. For example, it has extremely large head growth or very strong body or a pretty tail with nice deportment, but it's just the overall of the fish. The body needs to match the head growth. The tail needs to match the body. Everything has to rhyme well together. It's not to pick a particular feature on a fish, but it needs to look overall, be able to score high on overall fish.
它的头有多宽，它的肚子就得有多宽。
The width of the head growth needs to match the width of the body, the thickest part of the body. So it's not to say, well, this fish has great head growth, but it's got a puny little body. Such a fish would not score very high in a competition. It needs to have a well-balanced overall on every feature.
还有尾腹和尾闵，这个好翻译吗？
太难翻译了。
你就给他说，尾巴前面那一溜鳞片的数量，还有尾巴底部的那个鳞片的数量，这样翻译。
哦，要怎么样？
那个数量还是有要求的。
Even how detailed the standards have gone to, even at the peduncle, the number of scales on the peduncle, on the last roll of peduncle, as well as when you flip the fish over on the bottom of the peduncle, a number of scales on the bottom of the tail, the very end of the tail, they also have specific number of scales that you need to have in order to call it a fish passing standards.
然后，有一次机会，我在北京见过那个日本的评委大师，就是日本的评委，然后我就问了一个问题，就是他对这个臀鳍有没有什么要求？就是日本蓝兽的这个臀鳍，它有没有要求
？Yeah, there was one time that I was lucky enough to be able to witnessed a competition that was held in Beijing. The organization was lucky enough to be able to invite several top judges from Japan to judge all the fish in the competition. And then one of the questions I asked was regarding to anal fins. Is there any standards applied to anal fins?
他跟我说的是没有硬性要求，只是他跟我说的没有硬性要求，只是在比赛的时候也没有这个规定，就是一定单臀鳍的不能入围，他还是要看他的一个总体的一个构造，一个平衡水平，然后就是看这条鱼的总体长得怎么样，才能那个来确定它的那个比赛名次，还有那个什么。如果说相同的两条鱼，它们两个真的是不分伯仲，在这个情况之下， 有可能双臀鳍会沾一点光。但是如果说它的有一项标准不如这个单臀鳍的，这条鱼长得好，就是现场表现的好，它就会把冠军的位置让给这条单臀鳍的鱼。
Okay, so the answer, how the Japanese judge answer was, there's not really any specific standards applied to anal fins. They would not exclude single anal fins from entering a competition. Only if there are two fish that are absolutely identical in the overall composition as well as deportment. The fish that has double anal fins might win a point over the fish that has single anal fin. But however, if a fish has single anal fin, has the overall quality that are much superior than any other fish in the competition, they would give the championship to, they would actually nominate that fish with a single anal fin as the champion for the competition. Simply, the anal fins are really, really, really very little emphasized in the traditional Japanese or even Chinese competitions. It's really the overall deportment, the overall composition of the fish that are in focus, not the anal fins.
所以说我也不知道为什么有些鱼友就是在对这个臀鳍特别的迷恋。
So that's why I don't understand, to some hobbyists, they seem to have a particular interest in anal fins.
我就举个例子，如果一条鱼什么都没有，它该有的特征都没有，长得歪瓜裂枣，就是再不能烂了。但是它的臀鳍非常完美，基本上你用肉眼看不出来它的区别，然后它非常对称，然后非常的完美的一对臀鳍。另一条鱼就是什么都完美，只有是一个单臀鳍或者是臀鳍稍微有一点畸形。你会选哪条鱼？
Okay, so my question to you is that, what if we have a fish that this one fish, we have two fish, one fish is not meeting any variety standards. You know, the fins are lopsided eyes. We have, one the asymmetric eyes, body, asymmetric body with maybe fused tails. Just any features are not one feature that would meet standards, but it has perfect paired anal fins. And then we have another fish that's pretty much a champion fish in a competition, but instead it has everything to a perfection, but it has a single anal fin. Which fish would you prefer? So again, what we look at fish, we look at overall quality, not just looking at the anal fins. Anal fins takes very little weighing in an overall grading of a fish as well as in a competition.
所以说我还是要看重这个总体协调这一块，这条鱼的总体性一定要好才行。另外就是现在的中国金鱼也开始讲究这个总体协调了。我老在说这个词儿，但是它真的是越来越讲究这个总体协调了。现在。
Okay, so the Japanese standards for the varieties for goldfish has actually influenced the Chinese as well as Thai in recent years, where the fish are not even being only looked at in particular features, but the overall balance, the overall composition of a fish, including head growth, fins, body, deportment, to better grade the fish, not only at, say, for example, orandas, as long as the oranda has a huge head growth, but it couldn't swim, it would not be able to receive high scores anymore as before. Okay, now we got some questions here. Okay, let's start with this question. What are the dimensions of the concrete ponds? The concrete ponds, currently we have anywhere from 12 feet by 12 feet for maybe a foot and a half in depth. 你的问题关于颜色遗传的问题，像五花配红白后，后代差不多5-5开吧，但是我用水墨配红白后代全部是五花，但是没有水墨。这些五花以后再互相配，是不是可以出水墨？是不是代表水墨属于比五花高阶一段的花色？那么麒麟色是怎么遗传呢？比方说麒麟色配红白。
我告诉你这个问题，我还真弄过。就在我繁殖的经验来看，金鱼的这个麒麟，它就是在这个五花里面出现的。你麒麟配麒麟，它不会出来全部麒麟，它也只会出现一少部分这个麒麟，很少的一部分麒麟。你先说这些吧。然后
你说吧，这个我可能就不翻译了。
然后你如果又基本上它五花那个五花也不稳定。如果说你用红白来那个配五花的话，基本上你的五花也不是那种很稳定的五花，它会褪色，它80%到90%甚至更多会褪成樱花。其他的就是其他的可能会有不褪色的，但是很少。不褪色的真的能稳定住的很少。然后还会出现很多不变色的那种。然后这种不变色的公鱼，你如果饲养到位的话，它会变黑。母鱼它就是青色的，然后很少一部分会转成红色。这个就不翻译了。
太长了。Okay, let's continue with the next question. Okay, are you doing no filtration air stones only and 100% water changes? Yes, we don't have any filtrations. We relying on natural filtrations where, of course, the fish waste collected on the bottom would allow algae growth. You can see that most of our ponds are in the green pea soup green. It's the natural filtration, biological filtration that has formed in the ponds to be able to process ammonia, nitrite, and nitrate for us.
所以说五花金鱼的魅力就在于，它真的不稳定。你用一对非常完美的花色的鱼来配，你出来的鱼的花色，我告诉你，出到这个就是和它的亲鱼的颜色一样的鱼，这个是几率太小了。
Oh yeah. Also, Bo was answering questions regarding to breeding calico orandas. If we even have two perfectly colored calico orandas, we cannot even guarantee 100% calicos coming off. There are a combination of colors, sakuras, calicos, or even reflective scales, black, red fish coming off from a pair of calico orandas. Especially when we're breeding ranchers, the color combination is never steady coming from a pair of calico fish. Oh, you're very, very welcome. 你站太远，人家听不见。
所以你看那些繁殖蓝瘦的那个几百亩的大渔场，它出来的精品率真的很少，所以说他们的鱼卖的就非常贵，一条好的蓝瘦基本上都在几千人民币吧。
Yep, especially in calico ranchers that you can see there are a good number of farmers in China that solely dedicated a farm to breeding calico ranchers. And even from a farm of, we're talking about 10, 20, 30 acres, They could only produce a number of limited quality ranchers from that. That's why they would have always assessed a pretty high price for these, for the best ones. It's not rare to see each fish or from farm, from wholesale price at $300 to $500 a piece. 有很多问题. Okay, so next question. Can the bigger goldfish become alpha with dominant growth, stunt the growth of its fellow smaller goldfish in a pond? It's not really alpha dominance. It's pretty much because the bigger fish could consume more. They have a bigger mouth. Fish that swims faster could get to the food faster. They don't really have this male dominance or type of dominance in the herd. It's pretty much just how much they can consume at the same time. Slower fish put together with a faster fish, say for example orandas. If you have a ranchu put together with a group of orandas, that ranchu is probably not going to develop very well, simply because it can't get to the food fast enough. It doesn't matter if the orandas are smaller than ranchu or ranchu are smaller than orandas. It's simply the speed of a fish and how fast they can consume food. 等等，我再回一下。Okay, the next question. In both opinion, what is the superior goldfish type, hardiness, breed, characteristics, and overall strong genes? 就是哪一个品种是最容易养的，就是最结实的，最容易养。That would be comets. They are by far the hardiest of goldfish to keep. Next question. Have bull ever accidentally stepped on a goldfish? In the water, not likely. They can get away pretty easily. No, I would say it's a rare case. Of course, they have their slime coat. I don't think he's ever be able to step on a goldfish. Of course, he would also carefully move around when he's getting into the ponds to ensure that he doesn't really kill any fish by accident. Okay, we have also a next question. How about Kirin Ranchu? Yeah. How about Kirin Ranchu? Is both parents or Kirins? Will fry become Kirin? That's also the same method as Kirin orandas or Kirin any type of other Kirin fish, Kirin butterflies. Two Kirin parents will not guarantee 100% Kirin offspring. There will be a combination of other colors, sakuras, even reflective scales, reds, blacks, all coming off from the Kirin parents. 好了，现在有好多问题都回答完了，还有什么呀？
我有说刚才那颜色问题，等一会儿再说。
Okay, any other questions?
也有朋友在问我，那个就是那个叫什么奶牛蓝兽这么好卖，为什么你不繁殖？
Oh yeah, there are also hobbyists asking me the newly developed color for ranchers, the cow ranchers. They are selling like hotcakes. How come you're not breeding those?
我想啊，我繁殖了，但是它不出奶牛的呀。
I wished, I hoped, and I tried to bred them. But this color is just extremely difficult to develop.
奶牛的后代很少是奶牛。
Yeah, the offspring of of cow ranchers are really cow ranchers.
不然它的价格不会居高不下的。
Otherwise, they would be much, much cheaper.
然后刚才还接着刚才说呗，正品率的问题，还有那个什么。
还有问什么时候你大概鱼什么时候开始繁育，种鱼什么时候开始繁殖？
我3月初。
不是说种鱼的年龄。
年龄啊，这个年龄没有硬性规定，因为，怎么说呢？金鱼性成熟就是很早，有的鱼你当岁，你看我现在这批狮子，我可能到7、8月份它就可以繁殖了，
There's not really a set hard rules for breeding. It's variety. Each variety has different ages. Even looking at these calico ranchers that I'm actually culling right now, some of the fish could be ready in July or August to produce the next generation.
然后，我一般情况下，这个是我的秘密，我都说了。
那就不要说了。Okay. Some of the answers are all secrets, so we may not answer every question.
然后我还是说一点吧。然后这个我一般情况下会，你看金鱼的这个繁殖实际上它的遗传性就是，一般情况下我会选择2年的鱼来繁殖。
Normally, I would select 2-year-olds, which means the fish were bred not from last spring, but the spring before.
然后我有时候就是这个真是不一定的，有时候我会用1年的鱼给它反串，就是跟2年的鱼反串，然后有时候我会用3年的鱼跟2年的鱼反串，但是就是这个真的是要看当下的一个情况。
Yep. So, but it's again, it's not a hard rule. Sometimes I would use the 1-year-olds to back cross to the 2-year-olds, or even the 3-year-olds to back cross to the 2-year-olds. It really is dependent on what I'm looking for and the features on each breed, each parent fish that I like. So yeah, it's all in fluid. It's the fun of this hobby. There's no set of rules. We develop many experiences and our own secrets from our past experiences.
很多时候这个，你像万不得已没有办法了，比如说刚来了一个品种，我刚引进了一个品种，我就是必须得拿当岁来给它繁殖了，就是。
Yeah, but of course, yeah, if it also depends on if I have just acquired this variety. Of course, I would have wanted them to breed as soon as possible, regardless of their age, just because I want to preserve the lineage. I want to preserve this variety as soon as I can.
用2年的鱼繁殖的时候，它用2年到3岁的鱼繁殖也得看品种，然后它繁殖出来的鱼卵很大，然后就是成活率很高，再一个就是它的受精率也比较稳定，然后，它生出来就比当岁鱼繁殖的要大出来1/3，你就说。
Yep, a good advantage of using 2 or 3-year-olds as seed fish is that obviously the physical fish is already bigger than the 1-year-olds, therefore, as well as their eggs and the sperm. The eggs are bigger, the sperm are stronger, so even the newly hatched fry are already about 1/3 bigger than the fry coming from 1-year-olds. So obviously they're already at an advantage. They're bigger and stronger. But again, there's no set rules. If I'm desperate enough, 1-year-olds, they can breed, I'll breed them. 然后看又有问题了。
窥探我的秘密。
You guys are asking me for a lot of my secrets.
其实真的是根据，不是不说，是根据每一个品种的鱼的当下的一个情况来决定的，这个真的是不能一概而论。也就是说，最笼统的说法就是，金鱼今年的繁殖了，你像它到明年就可以用了，是这个样子。
Oh, yeah. So again, it's not that I don't want to give you just a simple rules to go by. It's simply because there's not a set of rules. It's all dependent on the year, on the seed fish I have available, on the even the temperature of the months and the particular season. If I'm desperate enough, I would breed in the fall as well. But of course, I normally would not do that. Breeding would only be carried out in the spring season. Sorry, it's going to be a little more noisier. There's some rain coming down in the greenhouse. Hope you guys can still hear us. So yeah, the main thing is aim for what you're looking for. If you like the looks of a particular set of seed fish, then go ahead and breed them. If they lay eggs and also produce sperm for you, then go ahead and try them out. There's not really much you can lose. The most is they'll probably not really produce anything of quality for you, but how do you know without trying? 下一个问题，就是说，所以那些第二代的五花会带有水墨的基因是吗？
它会。你如果用红白的给它杂交了，给这个水墨的杂交了，它这个基因会冲得非常非常淡，然后接下来你再出这个就是奶牛的就非常非常的少了，就基本上是不太可能的了，就是。
Okay. I'll move on to the next question. Oh, thank you. Yes, we are pretty much, I would say that as far as coronavirus pandemic quarantine, we have been staying on the farm pretty much for the last 5 years. We actually, because of this business, we rarely really go anywhere anyway. So we can say that we have been well prepared for this quarantine. Great. Yeah, you're very welcome. Okay, so next question. How do breeders have so much success in a large number of baby fry in one batch? Only like 5% of my batch lived. 他们就说，为什么好像你的小鱼都活了，他的小鱼只活了5%？
是美国的鱼友吗？
对啊。
这个，我告诉你，最主要的问题在哪儿？你的水没弄好。
Okay, so, well, I'll tell you a secret. You have not managed your water properly.
你没有老老实实的听我的建议去晾水。
You probably did not take my recommendation of treating your water in a separate container, then fully well age it and use the dechlorinator that we also recommended to ensure that all the water all the disinfection chemicals has been cleared. Water has been well aged before you use for your fry. If you just did these two things, your success rate should be higher.
如果你晾水了。如果你的水处理的非常非常的好的话，当然前提是非常非常的好的话，成活率一般情况下，那就是食物问题。我不知道你喂的是什么食物，你可以告诉我。
If you properly treat your water and age your water based from our recommendation, and then the next question is, what are you feeding them? Could you let us know what do you feed your fry?
一般情况下，小鱼就是水处理好了，另一个就是食物，是保证它成活率的一个，也就是最主要的就是得保证，就能这2样处理好，基本上它的成活率没有什么太大问题。
As long as you can ensure quality water going into a tank for the fry and a quality food for the fry, you should not have a lot of problems keeping them alive.
我相信就是水温应该没什么问题，所以说我没提到水温。实际上水温也是它成活率的一个很重要的因素。但是一般情况下，咱鱼友在家里繁殖的时候都会用上加温棒，或者是家里温度本身就比较高，所以说这个不是。我觉得不是问题，你得检查一下你的水温是多少，也得告诉我，我才能做一个正确的判断。
And the other aspect is the temperature of the water. But since most of our homes have heat, so that is not really something that I usually ask or worry about in the United States. But of course, having the right temperature for the fry would also be the other aspects of keeping them well and alive. So you can let me know over the messages that what do you feed and what do you think the water temperature is for your fry.
然后嘞，
然后就这样了。你要说别的吗？他还没有回。
他没回是吧？他没回就说点别的吧。想知道啥呀？我脑袋里信息量可多了，我告诉你。我不知道从什么地方说起。
What else would you guys like to know? I got lots of information in my head.
但是你要让我，实际上我们是没有任何的准备。所以说就是说的看上去有点乱，我想连起来，但是中间又有问题来再进行回答，再连前一个问题就显得特别的乱。所以说也请见谅吧，因为我们也没什么直播的这个经验。
Oh, okay. Yeah. So obviously, our illustrations might be a little confusing to you. Of course, we don't really have a prepared script to go in a live broadcast. It's solely based on the questions that are asked. So we ask for your understanding if they're not in a logical order at times.
因为订阅的人数不算多，所以说提问的人可能也不算多。在这个空档，我就说一点别的。但是这个金鱼的话题有很多，看似简单，但是一说就会，很长一大段，解释不清楚，所以，说的不是很连贯，抱歉。
Yep. So it sounds like keeping fish is pretty simple. You get your water ready, put the fish in there, and give them some fish food. But then it's not as simple as what we look at, especially when it comes to breeding. So therefore, our demonstrations, our explanations might not come in as how you feel your questions should be answered. So we also apologize for that, but we always try to provide as much information and answers that actually would be able to answer your questions. Okay, I saw your answer. You provide Hikari first bites and also instant ocean baby brine shrimp at water around 72 degrees. 他就说他就是喂的就是小鱼的鱼食，不是那个丰年虾，就是小鱼粉。然后还有就是那个冰冻的那个丰年虾，孵好的丰年虾。
孵好的丰年虾是吧？
水温在72度。
水温72度是多少摄氏度？
大概21度吧。
水温，你水温可以再提高一下。另外就是，那个小鱼的那个粉，如果说你的幼鱼的话，那个粉要。少喂一点，喂那个冰冻的丰年虾吧，先用那个先试一试，应该会提高它的这个生活率。另外就是 最主要的问题，你的食物应该也没有太大问题，只要它能吃进去，基本上这条鱼就算它长不好，它也能活。如果说它死的话，最主要的是你的水没有处理好。
Yep. Looking at the food that you feed, you could probably increase the percentage of instant baby brine shrimp and reduce the percentage of the Hikari first bites. However, those foods, as long as each fry is able to consume and consume the food, they should be able to stay alive. They should not die. At 72 degrees, it's fine. Maybe you can increase a few more degrees to 75. But again, those should not cause death in fish. The main root cause could still be your water quality, or there are still disinfection chemicals in your water, which could create a lethal killing in your fry.
你想一下，那个水就像我们在呼吸空气一样，它就生活在那个水里面。所以说，你那个水必须得处理好才行。
Yeah, just imagining. When they live in the water, it's just like it's the air that we breathe. If we have poisonous gas constantly being released in the air we breathe, of course we could perish easily as well. So it's still the water that you would have to treat with the disinfectant, with the chlorinator that we recommended, then age it well. Before you use it for your fry, that's probably would be the biggest improvement that you can do to ensure the survival rate of your fry. Oh, okay. So next question. You can. It's the pellets that you feed to fry versus live baby brine shrimp. It's just really the quality of food. Live food would still be the highest quality, the most nutrients that are available to the fry. You can feed pellets, but again, there are a lot of fillers in the pellets. These fish would live, but they would not live well. Yes, so proper water change. Yes, prepare your water well, treat it, excuse me, remove all disinfection chemicals, age it well to ensure a high dissolved oxygen level available prior to each water change. You're very welcome. Yep, so again, it's the quality of the food determines the quality of the fish.
我还见过那种奇葩呢，就是他上一个星期发了帖子，说他全部的鱼都死光了，然后到了第二个星期，他就教化别的人不用晾水，晾水是很过时的事儿。我只能默默地在心里说一声，这种蠢货。他是怎么活这么大的？
Yeah, and I've also seen posts online. The week before, this one hobbyist had a massive death in his fry. And the next week, he turns around still telling people there's not a need to really properly treat and properly age water. All I can say is I don't know what his thoughts are. Just suffering from a massive death a week before, yet he turns around, tell people not to really prepare water for their fish before use. But anyway, there are all kinds of characters out there. Yes. 那个时间电池没什么电了。
没电了。那我们今天就直播到这里吧。然后接下来就是干农活，就是刷石子。
Okay, our battery is running low on the phone, so I think we've answered most of the questions. The next thing we do after the second round of culling is, of course, the dirty work, scrubbing the pond. You can see that there are a good amount of waste sitting on the bottom of the pond, but that's also the nutrients for producing green water. Then the green water in turn was all the floating algae being able to process all the ammonia, nitrite, and nitrate in the water, forming really a natural habitat.
如果没有什么问题，我们就下播了。
Well, thank you for your kind words. We always try to provide as much information as we can to help everybody to enjoy the fun in this activity. 下次什么时候直播呀？
下次我也不知道什么时候，但是我想就是那一批鱼3选的时候再直播就行。我每一选我都来一次直播，然后让大家最直观的看到这个鱼是怎么一步一步长大的。
Yeah, next time, when will we do a live broadcast? The next time, we don't have a set time schedule. It depends on the development of our fry. The next time, we're thinking it will be the next round of culling, the third round of culling. So our goal is to really demonstrate how these fish develop over time, so you can see their gradual process.
因为我需要做的工作很多，所以说实际上我前期的这个养殖，小鱼的这个水平，就是不是特别的及时，可能鱼会长得慢一点，但是我比较注重它后期的一个养殖发展。
Okay. Yeah, just because of the sheer number of fry available and the limited amount of labor available, it's pretty much myself. Therefore, the fry in the first early stages, they may not develop as fast as at some other farms. But of course, what I really focus on is really after the third round of culling, really focusing on grooming them, because even with the proper diet, the type of diet, the appearances of these goldfish can change dramatically.
然后，说到这一点，我就想说，泰国的这个狮子，它前期的养殖是非常关键的一个，所以说它们的鱼就是能长到非常巨大的一个鱼。但是我觉得，就对我的客户来说，我养这么大了以后，可能。怎么说呢？我说不好啊，那一会儿，就是如果说我
需求没有这么大，
就是需求没有这么大，所以说我大部分鱼都不会养到这么大的。
Yeah, so obviously, in order to produce fish in jumbo size, we actually received questions from our customers regarding to jumbo orandas from Thailand. The first few months of grooming are very important to pump them into that size. But of course, at our farm, with our limited labor and also customer demand, we have not really seen a lot of demands for jumbo fish at over 10, 12, even 14 inches in size. We therefore decided to focus on more of the quality, the appearance, rather than the size of the fish, just because each market is different. In the United States, of course, our home aquarium are not at that size to be able to accommodate a fish at 10, 12 inches. So, even with our medium-sized fish, they are already at a pretty good size, at sellable size at 5, 6, or 8 inches. So, again, I think the way that we produce our fish are already meeting the market pretty well.
而且你想把一条鱼养得很大，那真的不容易。
Yep.
所以说那种鱼的价格就是基本上能出场的都是天价。然后就是真心不容易养这么大。
Yeah. So.
要付非常大的努力，还有精心照顾才可能长。
Yeah. And also, it's extremely difficult to produce fish in 12, 14, even 14 inches, even larger. Therefore, there are a lot of care that will need to go into it to produce fish in that size. Therefore, any fish that you see in that size would be in a phenomenal price, not surprisingly to see some fish are in 4-digit US dollars, simply 4-digit US dollars, simply because the difficulty level of producing fish in that size. Plus, the quality has to be very high as well, not just only size.
很多渔场呢，人家就是养比较单一的品种，可能最多养个2、3个、3、4个品种。但是我需要照顾的品种太多了，所以说精力上确实有点那个忙不过来，因为每个品种的方式还是有一些差别。
Yeah, and of course, the different market demands in Asia, many farms could just focus on 1 or 2 varieties to do them well, because in the United States, the demand is for many number of different varieties. If I were only to produce 1 or 2, I may not be able to support myself. So that's also the difference in market demand, where I will need to be able to produce 10, 15, 20 different varieties on my farm solely by myself. And that's also why I have different focuses. Instead of focus on jumbo sizes, I focus on quality, I focus on the diversity of varieties. Okay, now we have 2 more questions and our phone might die. You're welcome, you're very welcome, Nia. Z, I've been listening while I do water changes. Unable or a bounty of information. You're good people. Thank you, thank you. Thank you very much for your kind words. You also have a wonderful day. And okay, next question. The calls, there are single tails on Oranda of Spring. They're called nymphs. Unlike the other fish sites, would you keep odd kinds of that? We've actually kept a few single-tailed Orandas, but now due to our different focuses on quality this year, if we see 1 or 2 fish with very, very high quality, even with a single tail, we might keep it for fun. But now we don't have plans to keep a large number of them. Yeah, hello. Okay. Okay, so okay, that concludes the session of second round of calling. Thank you very much for your time, exchanging information with us and communicating with us. Then when it comes to the third round of calling, we'll do another session of live broadcast. Thank you. Bye bye. 怎么断掉？
真怂！我看看啊，怎么断掉？这样吧。
断掉。结束。
结束。